Hello, everybody, and welcome to Verde's Weekly Live. We are supposed to go live at 11 o'clock today, and it's 4:30 p.m. We've had a pretty busy day over here, and I hope you're having a great day. It was a busy day, but a great day, all in all. So my name is Kristen Carpenter. I'm your host today on the live show that Verde produces every Wednesday, and we talk about media, we talk about marketing, retail, and we basically take the trends that are happening in the news media and make them relevant to our amazing specialty brand leaders who are the bulk of our audience. So it's awesome to be here with you today. I'm also the CEO and founder of Verde Brand Communications. I can't believe that agency is turning 20 next year. That's just bizarre. And the Channel Mastery Podcast, which is an award-winning podcast. And basically, we focus on bringing the news around the best channels that are working today to win the attention, minds, and hearts of today's connected consumer. All right. So here we go. Let's get into it. We have a lot of headlines. It's not like a lot happened last week. All right. Today's November 11th. So last week being kind of the week, the week we were all waiting for. And the news came in on Friday that we have a new presidential-elect Joe Biden. Basically that, and then Monday's news about a vaccine that's 90% effective around COVID, which is interesting timing, but we don't have to get into that. But I will say those two things have really bookended another interesting consumer sentiment change and shift that will most certainly make the end of this year in Q1 incredibly interesting for us watching from the specialty leadership realm here. So I definitely felt it was important to bring some relevancy to that. I also want to say, and you can find this in the notes, I guess, I don't really know, I guess the caption underneath this video, the Outdoor Rec Roundtable yesterday came out with their Q4 report of numbers, and there was some very interesting data shared. I'm hoping to get an interview with somebody from the Outdoor Rec Roundtable to go over that with us on a very soon future Verde Live show here. But just know that it was interesting listening to the whole thing. There definitely was, as every business experienced, a dip in the early part of the year and then just gangbusters at the end of the year, kind of going into the end of 2020. And everybody is dealing with this, their own version of sourcing and supply woes, logistics, nightmares, etc. So getting the product to the people, it was going to be something we all share across the outdoor recreation economy, all of the industries comprising the Outdoor Recreation Roundtable. So know that you can find the link to that in the notes under the video, probably in an hour or so. I need a little bit of time to pull that together. So let's see here. Reuters gave President-elect Joe Biden credit for record highs in worldwide stock indices and surprisingly a surge in crude prices as of Monday. Investors have optimism for improved trade relations under a Biden administration. A little bit of Captain Obvious there, just with Trump's rough around the edges approach, I think is the easiest way to say it. And while Biden can take credit, the primary motor powering the upturn is promising news about the COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer, that's a tough one to read. Pfizer announced its COVID-19 vaccine may be 90% effective in preventing infection. So that's kind of a big deal. It's a light at the end of the tunnel in a big way. It's that horizon line we've been looking for for 9.5 months. I mean, that's what so many of my CEOs that we serve at Verde have been telling me is like there is no comp for what we're going through. It's incredibly hard to plan around what we're going through with this pandemic because there is no horizon line. And we've all been waiting for a vaccine to give us a semblance of that. And I realize a press release doesn't exactly set that, but it helps us feel optimism that it is on its way. Chief Investment Officer at Independent Advisor Alliance, Chris Zaccarelli, said the vaccine is really driving the markets. It's a game changer in terms of consumer spending and consumer behavior, and it augurs well for future economic activity as we begin to see a reversal of trends caused by the pandemic. Hearing that before some of the biggest shopping weekends before the end of the year is going to be very, very interesting. So I can't remember his last name, but what is Sebastian? I can't remember his last name, the author who wrote The Perfect Storm. Maybe we could get him to come on and produce something for us around the perfect storm of consumer behavior and specialty retail. That would be a fantastic creative nonfiction novel, I think. All right, we're not out of the weeds. Okay, everybody knows that, but optimism goes a long way, especially when it comes to consumer behavior. And it's so great to see that even as like more cases are showing up and people are starting to hoard essentials again, that we also, it's like we have this duality. We're getting ready to hunker down, but we're also excited that there's like hope on the horizon. I'm right there with you, everybody. It's a very confusing position to be in, but it is where we are. And it's a very interesting time to study consumer behavior, isn't it? On the flip side of this vaccine news, Vox shared a real concern over the media and news of the vaccine. Misinformation about the vaccine has become a problem already on social media. And the social media platforms are a big part, if not the part, of where people get their news today, especially Twitter for people my age and a little younger. And then my daughter gets all of her news from TikTok. Very interesting. She's 15. So it's incredibly important that the platforms are reporting accurate news and information about the potential vaccine. Pretty tough to do that when there isn't really a container of like journalism integrity around them. And they are not necessarily only focused on being journalistic outlets, but they most certainly are fitting into that equation for sure. A slew of Twitter accounts are already questioning timing of the results release, which were just days after the presidential election. And by midday, tweets pushing that narrative had racked up more than 20,000 shares. It's estimated that Donald Trump Jr.'s tweet alone could have been seen by nearly 7 million people. So we have to watch this closely. Being in specialty brands and leadership and marketing, trust is everything. Promoting accurate information regarding the vaccine, social media companies are turning to local health officials, the Centers for Disease Control, and the WHO, as well as reliable news sources as the official sources of health information. So this is very interesting to watch. This is a teeny bit of regulation that's happening because this is so, so important to the recovery of what we're going through in the pandemic. So it's great to see the social platforms that are trying to, put some kind of a stamp of verification on this. Keep in mind that even if you have nothing to do with the vaccine or the presidential election, your consumer will look at your own channel, specifically your website, your blog, as a place to get the real news about your company. So just know that that's always where people go to get the real news. It's just interesting to see what the social platforms are doing around this. They're taking responsibility for content shared on their channels in a way I've never seen before. So that's very interesting. And while they may be getting better at trying to damp down that misinformation, Axios showed that the networking platforms are definitely not doing a great job of unifying Americans, but it would kind of take an act of whatever you believe in up there to do that. Pardon me for my dogs barking in the background. So the social platforms serve all users across the political spectrum. That alone is sort of a cage fight waiting to happen. But more and more people are choosing to stick to their own kind and potentially their own channels, excuse me, in social media. Trump supporters, for example, from the Vox article, view Facebook and Twitter as against election-related misinformation as censorship, while Democrats argue that the companies bend rules too far to placate the right. This is not anything new, right? So Parler is an interesting Twitter-like social network that touts itself as bias-free, but has become highly popular for more conservative social media users. So that's an example of an offshoot happening. And the channel hit the top of the App Store charts in the days following Trump's election loss. So very interesting to watch. On a lighter note, and this is also really cool, excuse me for 1 second. Sorry. We're having an issue with my dogs here today. In honor of Singles Day, I wanted to share a quick article from Modern Retail on what I think could be the future of retail, or a very interesting lever in retail, live stream shopping. Okay. It generated an estimated $63 billion in sales in China in 2019. $63 billion compared to less than $1 billion in the United States. So this is where you have people doing live streams, selling product QVC style, but from their iPhones and really like that user generated content feel that is very trustworthy. And people, I think, on stateside are starting to get a lot more used to that just because of what they're seeing on YouTube. And it's just really like something that's out there waiting to happen. In China, 400 company executives and 300 celebrities will host live stream shopping sessions for Singles Day, which is today. So we can talk about this next week when we're back together. China has really become the leader in live stream shopping. 80% of e-commerce sales in the country last year from major online retailers like Alibaba came from live stream shopping. I just feel like it's just a matter of time before it comes over here. And Amazon launched a recent attempt at helping its micro-influencers step into that type of a platform. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok have all added new features to allow customers to buy products from videos more easily. There's still a lot of work to be done in terms of the friction around that. But there's also a lot of startups trying to create new live stream shopping platforms for small businesses. So very, very interesting. The challenges are build the technology and attract a large enough audience to convince brands that it's worth investing in. I think Amazon has both of those wrapped up already, so it's probably just a matter of time before they figure this out. But they're already doing some pretty big moves around this with micro influencers. We can post a link to an article on that as well in this Facebook ecosystem. It's something worth keeping an eye on. And that's it for today. Very, very happy to be here with you. Lots of news. News about the election, which means I probably should put on my tinfoil hat. I really have one. But I'm not going to because I feel safe today. It's fine. All right, everybody, we'll see you next Wednesday, and we'll be adding some links to this video down below. And keep in mind, tomorrow, I think at 11 Mountain Time, I'll be doing a live stream on Bicycle Retailer's Facebook page. So hop on over and join me over there. I've got some very exciting news to announce from one of Verde's beloved clients, Outer Bike. And I can't wait to see you over there tomorrow at 11. Tomorrow's Thursday, November 12th. And if I don't see you there, I'll see you here next week. Thank you.